So I'm coming on here because I've got a dilemma, and the dilemma is this: is should I study two modules this term or only one? And to give you context, I am doing a master's in special and inclusive education. Last night I did the first unit of the dyslexia module. This runs until June, and you hand your assignment in the first week of July, the 8th of July. And when I was on the program last night, what I noticed was that the other module, because I've got 4 modules to do in total, I've done 2, this is the third. The fourth one, I have a choice: general learning disabilities or understanding behaviour as communication. And the difference between the two, the general learning disabilities, is all focused around diagnosis, understanding the diagnosis of when someone is diagnosed with dyslexia or dyspraxia or autism or ADHD or any of those, Down syndrome, for example, or understanding behaviour as communication. And that's all around the person. So, whether someone has ADHD or autism or dyslexia, how do they behave? And for some, they have meltdowns, and it impacts their self-esteem, their confidence. Maybe it's roused at home, don't want to go to school. Now, that's the bit I'm more interested in, the behaviour piece. So if someone's acting out, I'm more curious about the person and what's actually driving that behaviour. I'm big into behavioural psychology. So the dilemma is that if I don't do it this term, I don't get the option to do it next September. So I have 2 choices: either enroll in it right now, and I have to find out from the college, Hibernia, whether I can do that, or swap it out with dyslexia. And if I decide to do the 2, that means a very intense 2 or 3 months. The next 10 weeks, right up until the end of June, will be really intense. The good news is that I've more availability because school is finished at the end of the month. Right now I'm enrolling schools for the September seminar series. Right now I'll be starting to enroll students and parents for my coaching program, supporting neurodiverse teens, which will start the next cohort at the end of August. So this is when I do all the enrolling and sales, in effect, for next year. But I have more availability because I'm not actually in schools. And my current cohort of coaching students were coming to an end by the end of May. So I'll have more availability because doing those assignments, there's 2 5,000-word assignments. If that's the case, there's a lot of reading to do. So it'll be heavy. But on the other hand, if I do the 4 modules, the 4th module, it means going into September, I will be able to attack my thesis. And my thesis, I want to do an ADHD. And that means I'll have knocked out the 4 modules in one academic year. So last September, I did my first module. January, I did the second module. And now in April, May, June, we do the other 3 and 4. Or I do 1 module this term and do the 4th one next term. So the dilemma is whether to do 2 this term or to do 1. And if I do 1, I have to swap out dyslexia with the one I want to do. And the reason I'm doing all of this, by the way, is because I coach and work with young people all the time. So students who are struggling with dyslexia, dyspraxia, autism, ADHD, for them school is a real struggle. And the module we've just started, dyslexia, I have 12 students at the moment that I'm coaching with dyslexia. And for anyone with dyslexia, the number one issue that I see is self-esteem. So imagine sitting in class all day and your big fear is being asked to speak. You don't want to read out loud because you're afraid of reading because you struggle with visual stress, right? And it reminds me of one student I coached the year before last, and I always remember she said, Ray, I asked her, what was your biggest win? She said, asking a question in class. Imagine getting through 6 years of secondary school, and in the last week or 2 of school, she asked a question for the first time because she didn't have the confidence before. That's the business I'm in. I love working with young people to give them the tools and the support and the confidence and the self-esteem. And that girl is now flying. She's in college. She's probably in 2nd year, going into 3rd year now. And it can just change everything for you. And, as part of this study, it's to understand all the theories behind you know, whether it's dyslexia or autism or whatever it is. So it's a really interesting course. But from my perspective, it's heavy work, and you know, it requires a lot of discipline. So here's the question: should I do 2 or should I do 1? What do you think? Give me your feedback, and don't forget, day by day we are raising the game.